Cross Ice Pass, episode 25. I want to say right off the bat, yes, I'm wearing my MSU hat, but I'll talk about that in a minute. Also, I, like everyone else right now, it's summer early, yay. So if I have a little coughing moment, moment, it's because I have allergies and they stink. So, sorry about that in advance. So all NHL teams are basically in the playoffs. This is when fans need to stay calm and collected. Be very wise about like what jerseys you wear, what shirts you wear, like what hats you wear, because everything means everything right now. Not really, but if you're crazy, if you're a crazy hockey fan, it does. So we got about 15 to 17 games left to mid-April. There are some serious battles to getting to those last wild card spots in both conferences, and on top of that, proper seeding. There's been hopping around there. A team I got to mention right away is the Preds. They're rolling away with a playoff spot. Going into the All-Star break, they didn't look like they might have that oomph in them. But the Central Division is hopping all over the place with the Avs, the Stars, the Jets, and Nashville. The Jets were first for a little bit. Now they're not. The Avs are up on first. Stars are second. It's all over the place. But this is why we love it. These are the moments why we love it. Yes. Do I grow gray hair in my beard when my team is this close to maybe making the playoffs? And am I nice in public when I'm watching a game that I lose in? I don't know. But I try to. I try to be. The key component, if you're a friend of a hockey fan, is don't just tap them on the back. Like really give them a nice hug, a nice embrace, because right now we really need it, folks. The LTIR still has the Golden Knights with only 4 wins in their last 10. And the Blues and Wild are creeping right behind them. I rooted for the Golden Knights last year. I really wanted them to win. I felt like they deserved it. I don't feel that way anymore because this LTIR thing, I'm over it. The Blackhawks used it, Lightning used it, and the Golden Knights have used it twice. And I think there should be some evenness to this, because the problem is what if the Golden Knights don't make the playoffs and they have this lineup that they can't afford? So that's going to be interesting to see what happens in Vegas. I want them in the playoffs just because I think Vegas has become a really good hockey town, but I don't want them to win a Stanley Cup the way that you can just kind of bench guys, put guys off to the side. Get better, buddy. We'll give you some Band-Aids and some smoothies. And then when you're ready to demolish everybody, yeah, that's cool. Let's come back and do that. Anyway, of course, the East is where my eyeballs are because the Wings have the possibility of ending a 7-year playoff drought. But it's going to be crazy. The Bolts, the Flyers, the Wings, the Caps, and the Isles are all still hunting. I apologize for the Penguins and the Devils. I think it's over unless someone, hopefully not my Red Wings again, but unless someone like all of a sudden has some like 6 or 7 or 8 game loss streak, you never know. You never know. So, let's see how it goes. The Bruins, the Rangers, the Canes, the Cats, and the Leafs are locked in. Just before I recorded this, the Rangers beat the Panthers in overtime, giving them 98 points, which puts them, I think, 20 points ahead of the Red Wings. So they're in it. Sorry. Meanwhile, the Caps and Wings play each other twice, and those are going to have a playoff feel for sure. My favorite thing as a Red Wings fan is that Tom Wilson is not going to be there because of his suspension, his 6-game suspension. He's going to miss both those games, and whether you hate a guy like Tom Wilson or Brad Marchand or whatever, everyone wants that guy, and not having to deal with him is going to make it a lot better for the Red Wings, who don't really have that guy. So Isles have a real tough schedule, and they got to play 2 against the Rangers, and that rivalry is, been an ongoing rivalry for a very, very long time. So let's see where it goes from there. Okay, this week is college hockey. This is college hockey's week. I know it's March Madness. I know everyone wants to do their picks. Oh yeah, I'm going to pick Marquette. You don't know anything about college basketball. Let's be real. Most people that do March Madness has no idea about college basketball. It's fun, whatever, but it's literally a guessing game. Unless you're like Dave Portnoy throwing down 6 figures on teams out of nowhere. But, apparently it's okay for him to lose that kind of money. Anyway, I'm gonna try to give you as concise of a college hockey update as I can. There is one game that is a bit of a bit of an issue because it'll probably be after this recording, which is Wisconsin and Ohio State are competing for the women's national championship. They upset both their teams in the Final Four yesterday, and they'll be competing Sunday to see who wins. Of course, I'm from Michigan, and I want Ohio State to lose. So, fingers crossed. Let's go Badgers. The Indiana Hoosiers win the Division II national championship over Miami of Ohio Red Hogs in OT 5-4. I saw some highlights of this game. Crazy. It was a crazy game. Like, this is the type of stuff we love. It doesn't always have to be NHL. It can be anything. It really can. And if you're a fan, jump in everywhere. So, in Division III, Hobart wins the Division III national championship over Trinity. I have some friends that played Division III. I know Elmira was in there, Albion was in there, but Hobart now, I think this is their second chip, and congratulations to their team. Okay, here we go. Dun, 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 dun. MSU beats Michigan for the Big Ten chip in OT. Wah, 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 wah. Oh, the game was back and forth. But the Red Wings goaltending pick in Trey Augustine, who's the real deal, really made it very difficult for Michigan to get any type of traction in this game, because it did look like Michigan was kind of on top of MSU the whole game. Unbelievable. Also, on ESPN, by the way, you can watch the Hockey East games on ESPN, and I think the Frozen Four Championship is going to be on ESPN as well. But number 1 and number 2 in the nation, BC, number 1, beats BU for the Hockey East chip for their first chip in 12 years. Both teams are loaded. We know a lot of these players on both teams played for the U.S. in the World Junior Championship, and it was a pretty great game. But it was a bit of a blowout. And I think we might be able. I'm not going to say that we won't see BC and BU again in the tournament, but you never know. It's going to be interesting because you got to remember each conference championship kind of has a little bit to do with this. So that being said, Cornell beats St. Lawrence for the ECAC chip. St. Lawrence upset Quinnipiac, last year's national champion, from getting to the final, but Cornell beat them easily 3-1. Omaha upsets the favorite in NCHC, the favorite North Dakota. North Dakota's been ranked in the top 5 all year long, and Omaha upset them. It was great. And unfortunately, they did get to play against Denver for the chip. I think Denver definitely finished that one up pretty easily. RIT beats the American International Yellow Jackets for the Atlantic hockey win. So things are wild, man. It's going to be interesting to see what the Frozen Four tournament gets, because if you think about the college rankings in the top 20 that we always hear about versus these upsets that happened in this last week, I think there's going to be a bit of an interesting jog of who is going to go to the Frozen Four tournament. We'll know by the end of the week because games start next weekend. Of course, the Frozen Four tournament is not March Madness, but it still has it starts with 16 teams, not the crazy. I think it's 64 for March Madness. So keep that in mind. It's going to be on ESPN Plus. We should all watch it. They're going to be great games. I'm really excited about it. This week's international team that I want to talk about is kind of interesting. We've talked about U.S. I'm still holding on Canada and Russia, but I kind of want to talk about Germany. And this is because one of my best friends is a big fan of Team Germany. His family's from Germany, and of course, Moritz Seider on the Red Wings is a German. So the thing that's interesting about this one, it took me a little bit more research because there's not that many NHL Germans. So you gotta have to go like between what played in the 2018 Germany won the silver in the Olympics. In 2022, they didn't do very good in Beijing. They were almost second to last in Beijing. But that wasn't NHL teams. I was trying to see if there are some other international players that either could be on the team or was on the team before. So we'll start right there. Forwards. Leon Draisaitl, of course, is number one, 1,000%. He'll be on the top line. He's mostly going to be with Tim Stützle. I actually put him with a very interesting player in this guy, Brooks Mashek, who plays in the KHL, has pretty good stats. I've seen some highlights, pretty good player, but he's a dual citizenship in Canada and Germany. This guy's not going to make Team Canada because everybody that makes Team Canada is going to be an NHL All-Star. So he could make Germany, and he might do very well there. Line 2, Nico Sturm, John Peterka playing the NHL. But there's also Tobias Ryder, drafted by the Oilers. Oilers spent 8 seasons in the NHL, kind of in and out. Has spent 3 years in the Swedish League and has won a championship with the Lakers in the Swedish League. So considering that the German team now versus the German team in 2018 that was very good at the Olympics is a completely different age group. Maybe a guy like Tobias Ryder could be a good help to kind of push them into that international situation. Lucas Reichel, I have him on line 3. He also plays in the NHL. I also kind of looked up a couple other players, and listen, people can comment all they want on German hockey players. Of course, I don't live in Germany, and my skill set is only research level. So, Timo Bakos, who is playing for Lake Superior State, has had a few great years at Lake Superior State. His stats are good. Yeah, Lake Superior State's not a top team, but he seems like he's doing well. Could be a guy that they squeeze in to the lineup. Dominic Kuhan also medaled twice with Germany. He's just 30. He was on both the World Championship team and the Olympic team when he was young in 2018. So that could be another good veteran to have around. Defense. Defense, I only have 5 players, and that's because there's not a lot of German defensemen out there, surprisingly enough. Of course, number one defenseman is Moritz Seider. Moritz Seider has become a real terror. He's a solid minutes guy. He'll probably be out there he'll probably spend 20 minutes in every game in the Olympics. And I think he'll do fine. Maximilian Zuber from the Roadrunners in the AHL also has some great stats, has some great numbers, and he's a solid guy, big guy. So that could be a good pairing. Second D pair, Leon Gawanka from the Barracudas of the AHL. Great numbers and consistent. Yegor Alanov, who is a dual citizen between Russia and Germany, as a solid D in the KHL, has had a really good career there so far. He could be a guy that could fit in. And then Jonas Mueller, who also won the silver in 2018 in the Olympics. So one thing that's great that the Germans have is they don't have a lot of goaltending, but they do have one goaltender that is really awesome, and it's Philipp Grubauer. And Philipp Grubauer wasn't there in the Olympics for the last two, and he hasn't been around for the World Championships. And I think his career has now built up. So I think he's obviously going to be the starter for the Germans moving into, the international play, World Championship. And if Seattle doesn't make the playoffs, which is looking like it's not going to happen, I think Philipp Grubauer could be smart to go play for the World Championship with Germany and see how many guys. I know Stützle also should probably be there. I think the World Championship this year is going to be interesting because a lot of guys are like, I don't really, I want to play for the country, but some of them might be beat up. They might be partially injured. So leading into the Olympics and leading into these other series, I think more players are going to want to play as soon as they get out of the playoffs. So sad news this week. Before I get into my usual, I wanted to talk about this because it sits within this teeter totter of fighting in the NHL, fighting in hockey, and some of the ramifications that come from that. We lost Chris Simon at the young age of 52. His family believes it was CTE, chronic traumatic encephalopathy. Sorry if I ham that up. But I think it's a little bit what Derek Bugard had, and a lot of guys that kind of came out of the league that got into some certain situations with painkillers and things like that to deal with it. But he did play 800 games in the NHL. He was a known enforcer and grinder that was hard to play against. He won a cup in 1996 with the Avalanche. He went to the Stanley Cup in 98 with Capitals versus the Red Wings. And he truly was, when I look back at watching games and seeing Chris Simon and his long hair flowing around, he truly was one of those hard to play against players. But his teammates, his opponents, called him a fierce competitor and teammate. Simon's family said, "We are grieving the loss of our son, brother, father, partner, teammate, and friend." Truly sad news with CTE taking down another player post-retirement. And it's something that, thank God, the NHLPA has their player system now to kind of talk guys through this stuff and deal with addictions and deal with problems and deal with issues. because as we know, it's real. It's a real thing. Sorry to hear the loss of Chris Simon, but we do have tons of highlights of how strong of a player he was and how storied of a player he was. So much love to that. This week, happy, surprising, not surprising, and pretty unusual. First happy. It's the first happy. It's so easy. The Birdman, Kuznetsov. Talk about a comeback story in Carolina. It's so awesome to see him flourishing. It's so happy to see him respected, not only again for on his team that he's playing on, but also as an opponent. So congratulations to Kuznetsov. Sometimes a change of scenery can be a good thing for a pro athlete, and I'm hoping that is going to be the case for you. Finally, the owners and GMs are going to discuss the cap rules in the summer. Something has to be done about this. We already talked about it when mentioning the Golden Knights. I think it's about that time that this becomes a true, let's keep teams as even as we can. Let's, instead of buying players, we should be using fill-ins from the AHL like we used to. So I hope that there's a lot done with that, and it'll be a big change. The Canadian Hockey League will start their playoffs this week. That's super exciting. Guys, we are in. This is the big moment. The end of March, we start to get the end of the conferences for college hockey. We got to start to get the end of juniors. We start to get to the end of playoffs for the Fed League, the SPHL, USHL. All these leagues are starting to get kind of close to their playoff situation, including the NHL. And April, I think April is a great month for that. There's going to be a lot of great hockey to watch from the AHL, the ECHL, the CHL. It's going to be wonderful. And I told you the allergies. So we'll get to see who's going to be the Memorial Cup winner soon. Another happy moment. Akeem Alui, co-founder of the Hockey Diversity Alliance, is making a return to professional hockey, signing a professional tryout contract with the San Jose Barracudas in the AHL for the rest of the season. It's really great to hear because I know he had not only had issues with management and other things in his career, but also he had a bit of an injury lately. So for him to fight his butt off to get back into playing shape is awesome to hear. I highly recommend the graphic novel he wrote called Dreamer, about his life as a kid he was born in Nigeria. Him and his father moved to the Ukraine, where his father, he knows a lot of languages. But then when his family moved to Canada, he found the love for hockey, and he found that black players have, as we know, and we've heard so much of, the black players have issues because a lot of players don't show them the respect that they deserve. Big congrats to Akeem. I can't wait, and maybe we'll see you in the NHL soon, I hope. Another super amazing happy moment. Does everyone remember Layla Anderson, the little girl that needed a bone marrow transplant in St. Louis? And remember seeing her and how much joy she brought the St. Louis Blues when they were fighting for a cup win. Yeah, that little girl is in great shape now. She's playing hockey, and her Bantam hockey, her team won the Bantam Hockey Championship, which, man, I know we've had some things that have happened in the past, losses and things like that, but you know, uh, a story like Layla's and her survival and her coming back and not only not walking away from a sport that she loved, but embracing it is just awesome. And I'm super pumped about it. And congratulations, Layla, and your big championship. Surprising. I got some stats this week that are pretty interesting, and I thought they were interesting because they're kind of they're kind of they kind of flux a little bit. Ovi breaks another record, becoming the only player in NHL history to record 19 straight 20-goal seasons from the start of his career. And remember, I said from the start of his career because I know everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, well, that's not real," because there's other guys that, well, some guys don't have the kind of um, it factor that Ovi had in his rookie season. So um, that's a pretty awesome stat, though. Um, Another weird stat outside of the NHL, it's actually a minor league team to the KHL. Artemi Artemi Pleshkov stopped 124 of 125 shots as his Ska Neva team in St. Petersburg lose 1-0 in the fifth overtime. Holy crap. I can't imagine how much water, how dehydrated that kid must have been. Jeez, oh, criminy. But wow, stuck with it. That's, you know, all that training and all that work paid off. For him to hold on to it, but his team did lose. Sorry. So Corwin, last surprising thing, Corwin from Bardown. Thank you so much for posting this because I thought it was pretty funny. Has gone full nerd and noticed that exactly 19 players in the NHL wear ear covers, and I'm talking about. If you guys are watching on YouTube, but if you're listening, I'm talking about the plastic ear covers that kind of cover your ear on your helmet. A lot of guys remove them, but I thought there'd be more than 19 actually, because I wear mine. I keep mine over my ears. Some guys, some guys don't think it. Listen, one little piece of plastic is not gonna like make the amperage of listening to a guy, that you're supposed to pass to or something. It's not gonna matter. Protect your ears, people. Like, just don't be stupid. Because I've gotten a stick to the ear before, and it freaking hurts. It does not feel good. And your ears are pretty delicate. Like, you know, we protect our hands, protect your ears, man. And I think it's funny that out of the 19, Patrick Kane, Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin have had this happen, so they wear those covers. So thank you for mentioning that because I love when somebody posts something that no one would ever think about posting. I love it. Congratulations, Corwin. Glad you posted that. I don't know how long it took you to count guys that don't wear them, but hey, you went for it. Not surprising, Austin Matthews has scored 354 goals in 547 games. That's a weird stat for game numbers. I get it. But it is 17 more than Ovi has had in that span. I still am sticking with Austin Matthews to to surpass Gretzky or Ovi. If Ovi, I want Ovi to surpass Gretzky. I think he deserves it. I think he's been working his butt off to do it and keep his team, quite frankly, afloat because of his goal scoring prowess. But I think I wonder. This makes me wonder if Austin could break the overall record. So I started doing a little math. Ovi has 147 playoff goals. Because that's the thing. People don't realize that Ovi is breaking Gretzky's regular season goal record. It has nothing to do with his overall goal record. because his overall goal record is well over 1,000 goals. Right now, I think Ovi's starting to creep into under 50, but there's a big difference in their playoff numbers. Ovi has 147 playoff goals. Gretzky has 208. Now, Austin Matthews already has 50, and he's 26. So part of me feels like Austin Matthews could probably get, since he seems like he's going to be, listen, the Maple Leafs, I don't know if they're going to win a cup. We'll find out. I'd love for them to. But it sounds like Austin Matthews is going to be in the playoffs and be able to score as much as he possibly can. So Austin Matthews might be able to break Gretzky's 200 goal record in the playoffs. Could Austin Matthews, American-born, Arizona-born, half Mexican Austin Matthews break Wayne Gretzky's record? That is yet to be seen, but it's something to think about. Nikita Kucherov, this is also not surprising. Nikita Kucherov is still on a tear, and it's putting his name in many places as the MVP. He's my MVP vote already. He hit the 120-point mark in 68 games. Now, as a winger, there are only 4 other wingers to do this in the NHL history. Jagr took 63 games to do so. Bossy took 64 games to do so. Curry did 66 games to do so. Now, let's remember that Kuch is only 30. Dare I say, where will Kucherov end up in the list of Russian greats when he's done? Because, I mean, right now I think of, Bure, I think of, Mogilny, I think of Fedorov, of course Gretzky, of course Ovechkin, but I think Kucherov could be considered high up there when he's done in his career. Unusual. This Sean Couturier thing, getting healthy scratched after becoming the captain of the Flyers by your coach and GM, is stupid. I've been an advocate for Torts. I like some of his I like some of his old style coaching, but this is stupid. The thing is that John Tortorella is not understanding is that in the current climate of sports, the players make more money than you. All that's going to happen, even though the owner of the Flyers is like, I'll pay for your fine, whatever, they're going to get rid of Torts. I think Torts could be fired in the offseason while being up for the Jack Adams Award. That could be the wildest thing that could ever happen. Because your captain, your players have to want to play for you. And if the captain isn't being trusted, I also think Sean Couturier needs to grow a pair a little bit and say, no, I'm going to play. I get paid to play here. I get paid to play in front of the Philadelphia Flyers fans. And Tortorella, you can go, push him into the bathroom and lock him in. I don't know. I just think I think Torts has put himself into a whole new level of tort problems, and I think it's gonna. I think when John Tortorella retires or when John Tortorella is fired, I don't think he'll retire. I think it will be a firing. I don't think he'll be back. Hockey players don't work this way anymore, man. I'm sorry. I love the old style. I love old time hockey. I love all that stuff, but no. Last unusual thing, which is very funny. I'm sure you've all heard it, but let's talk about the Jagr bobblehead theft in California. The investigation is ongoing for some reason. Jagr is hanging out in Pittsburgh Also, did Yager like make this happen? Is he like selling them on eBay or something? Um, this is just another crazy Yager story, and I love it. We all love it. Hockey loves Jaromir Yager because he is golden and he's exactly himself. He doesn't act like anything else other than Jaromir Yager. So I can't wait to find out that the traveling Yagers are in the front of this, but we shall see. Um, that being said, let's move on to today's interview. Um, oh boy, I wrote down oh boy. I'm so glad I got to meet Dave Schneider, the lead singer of the storied band the Zambonis. And for it to be for my 25th episode, how big can that be? Um, if you are a hockey person and don't know about the Zambonis, then please start over, lock up your stuff, and listen and look up the Zambonis. They've been on everything. They have done songs for teams like the Penguins. They got a song called "What the Kachuk." They did a song called "Avalanche" in 1996 that they redid in 2002 for the Avalanche. They've got songs about the Whalers because Dave Schneider's from the Hartford area. Um, they've got songs with Sabres, Bruins, Rangers. They've got songs about Gretzky and Howe. Um, the thing that's great is that they really click into the culture of our sport. And that's all they write about. But it's not just hockey. And I love that Dave mentions that as well as a lot of their websites and things like that too. It's about the exactly what I like to say, which is the hockeyverse. It's about the hockey experience. Not only just playing on the ice, it's about going to have a beer after a game when you're playing beer league, or you know, making your best friends ever when you're playing in school, or having guys that are your ride or die people. And that's family. How family responds to you as a hockey player. They click everything in, and they connect everything. They say, I even say they really click into the culture of our sport with so much hilarity and artistry. If you look up their videos, their albums, album covers, they truly are a different level of creativity. I mean, they got a song called "Don't Pick a Fight with Chara." The video is amazing. Um, They got a song called "The Referee's Daughter." Video's amazing. They did a Ramones tribute called "Joey Saves," which is great because their sound is all over the place, but it's so good because it fits the subject matter that they're writing to in those songs. So, of course, their big hockey hit, "Hockey Monkey," um, talking about a lost monkey playing hockey with kids on the pond. To say this conversation was epic is an understatement. Um, these guys perform every show in hockey jerseys. They've done some performances in the cold. They've done some performances on the ice, all-star games, all kinds of stuff. So I hope you all enjoy my talk with one of the founders, Dave Schneider. And I think it's time to move on to Dave. Here we go. And all right, we've got a rock. I can't call it a rock band. A rock, punk, ska, country, blues, pop. I think your "Let's Grow Rangers" song's a dance song too. So, this band's based in Connecticut, formed in 1991. They have released numerous albums and singles since then that are all based on the great sport of hockey and the life and love that surrounds it. In 1995, they came out hot with their first release, 110% Hockey, and other stuff. It cracked the top 25 on both the CMJ and Gavin charts, spent 13 weeks on the CMJ Top 200, and worked its way onto NHL, NCAA, and minor league hockey arena playlists nationwide. Instead of writing a song about the Red Wings, they wrote a song about the Avalanche
All
on
right.
that album, which was their anthem surpassing My Wings in one of the best conference finals ever in 1996. It was
True.
redone in 2022. The band is the first U.S. rock band to become an official licensee of an existing brand. Viacom produced a video for their song Hockey Monkey. It made its debut on the popular Nickelodeon program Kablam. It also became the title song for The Leap on Fox. In 2001, on behalf of the Boston Bruins, to Bleed Black and Gold becomes the title song to a highly rated Nesson documentary. They also perform at Ray Bork Night. The band performed at the 2002 NHL All-Star Game at Staples Center in Los Angeles. They've played alongside or opened for acts such as The Ventures, The Talking Heads, Bare Naked Ladies, Three Doors Down, Jewel, Five for Fighting, Bowling for Soup, Real Big Fish, Guster, and tons of others. Critically acclaimed by the New York Times, ESPN, NPR, Rolling Stone, Sports Illustrated, and others.
All right, enough of this.
It's the last one. It's the last one. They're constantly making new songs. Thanks to all the crazy stories that happened in the hockeyverse, welcome to Cross Ice Pass. Defenseman, guitarist, and lead singer of the Zambonis, Dave Schneider.
Captain. That's
Captain Dave Schneider.
Yeah. Hey, how are you, Matt?
Dave, great to have you on here.
I just call you the wrong
I got to
name?
start with my one question.
I think I just called you the wrong
it's
name.
okay. Coach Steve.
Hi, Steve.
It's all right, Dave. It's a Friday night.
That's a good start.
I have to start with my one question that I kind of throw my guest for a loop with this one, but we got to start with, I got to know your fondest hockey memory, and it can be old, new, whatever you think, whatever comes up.
Well, my short-term memory doesn't work very well, so I can only say it was a great Rangers-Bruins game last night.
It was.
I don't think that was my life highlight, but it was a freaking two of the best teams going at it, and that was cool. And I guess the best team beat the best team. I don't know. Boston's really good. But so that's my short-term, I only remember the game from the previous night. But my fondest hockey memory, is that the question?
Yeah.
It's got to be going to New Haven Coliseum as a kid with my family. My parents got divorced in like 1981. So in 1973, we would all, me, my mom, my dad, and my two brothers would pile into the Lincoln Continental, which I think got 4 miles to the gallon. And we would drive 25 minutes up 95 to the New Haven Coliseum, which was sponsored by asbestos, I believe. Not true. But, and we would go see the New Haven Nighthawks. And, I was 7 or 8. And those guys were like superstars to me. Yeah, and they were a minor league team at the time for combination of the Rangers and the Kings and other teams. Sometimes they were just a mashup, but that was my first exposure to the game, and it was cool. And the French fries were horrible but awesome at the same time. And they didn't use brand name ketchup, but it made me realize that life isn't perfect. So
yeah,
that would be it. The New Haven.
That's awesome.
Haven Coliseum. No way. Wow, this fucking froze.
Uh-oh, I might have lost you.
Oh, I'm not supposed to curse. We froze.
Sorry, I got you back. Yeah, I think you froze a little bit there. Maybe that was my taking the cursing away. Technology did it for us.
Oh, did you do it?
No. Yeah, it's all good. We're good.
All right. If we freeze again, now, I could take a walk.
It's okay. I can edit it out. It's not a problem. That'd be great. It's actually funny you mentioned the New Haven Nighthawks, because last year in the spring league that I coach, we always kind of pick a funny name for the kids' teams, and I was the New Haven Nighthawks. So
Nice.
I should have probably wore that hat, but I had to wear the Red Wings hat because I had a good night last night watching the Red Wings play the Islanders. So
Did they beat the Islanders
no,
last?
they did.
Good. Ooh.
keeps us in the wild card. So Dave, I
worked
kind of
for
want
the
to,
Islanders
before we
for a
get
long
into,
time.
we're
You know
going to
what?
talk a lot about your band,
I'm
and
gonna
we're going
do
to talk
this.
a lot about the music, but
I'm going to try this. I don't
kind
want
of
to, but I'm going to try it.
daisy chaining off of your, kind of coming off the hockey memory. Give us a little insight to your hockey life before starting the band.
Before starting the band, I was into hockey, but I got to be honest. I would go see Whalers games, into hockey, but I was really into music, and I started liking this local band called the Philistines Junior, and they were just two guys that I definitely am not. I'm not a normal person. I don't know. I'm a quirky guy. I like quirky things. I like quirky music. I like, while everybody was into Zeppelin, I like Devo, and while everybody was into the other stuff, I love punk rock and hardcore or whatever, and new wave, definitely new wave music. And so I met these two guys, Peter and Tarkin, and they had a band called the Philistines Junior, and they did not make music like other people, and I wanted to be friends with them. And luckily, I played in this band, and I made up a song on stage about this artist named Jonathan Richman. And they ran up. They're like, "Who wrote that song?" I'm like, "Oh, I just made it up." Like, "Yeah, right. We like Jonathan Richman." I said, "I like Jonathan Richman." And they said, "You should come to our house next weekend for a recording party." And we went, me and my roommate, and it was unbelievable. It was the greatest night of my life, kind of. And I was with my roommate Brad, and when we left, Brad said that was the worst night of my life, and I said that was the greatest night of my life. And that was easy. So I sort of suckered these guys in. They both played hockey, and I wanted to be in a band with them. And I said, we should start a band that sings songs only about hockey. And one of the guys, Tarkin, said yes. And Peter's like, you guys are idiots. And but then we wrote a couple songs, and that was the start. And unfortunately for them, the song sort of took off in a weird way, college radio and stuff. And we got a record deal. And it never stopped. So that's it. I speak to them every day to this day. That was over 34 years ago that we were friends, and speak to them every day. I spent last weekend with Tarkin in New York with my son and his daughter. They're not, well, Tarkin's still in the band, even though he says he's not in the band, and Peter, whenever we make a recording, we make new songs all the time, and I record them with other people usually, but then Peter mixes it. And Peter has become an unbelievably successful and famous master mixer and producer. He's produced many of the records by the National and Interpol and tons of bands, too many to mention. But he's a brilliant guy. He's one of the best.
And of course the Zambonis.
The new Guster record too. Brand new Guster record comes out in May.
Oh, really? Okay.
Peter mixed that, and he's mixed many of their other records too. So
that's cool. Yeah, I like those guys. That's a pretty interesting way to kind of think about starting a hockey band. Because what's interesting is that all the songs that you guys have written are so relatable. And it's not just it's relatable to players, but it's also relatable to fans as well, which is so great. I feel like a lot of the songs sound like you guys just kind of sit in a rink and write them.
You get inspired and you write them quick. Some are more thought out, but then there's Drop That Puck, so some of the songs are obviously hockey inspired. And then some, you try to take a more artistic, weird route to writing a hockey song. The Referee's Daughter is actual love song about not succeeding with a woman or a girl back then. But there's we're up to 258 songs, so I don't know what to
Yeah,
do.
it's there's a lot there, and of course, the subject matter is my favorite, so I have no problem listening to them. But it's it, I really really like Slow Whip. It's
Oh,
like
great.
one of my favorites, and
And I like that because it's from last year,
um, I mean the other one. There's so many good ones. I mean, one thing I have to since the story's relatable and everything, I'm curious. Obviously, you get to sing them as much as you want. You get to create new ones as much as you want. But you have a favorite one?
There's a few. Um, Definitely Hockey on the Moon is from our first record. That was my dream, to make uh, kind of a proggy new wave song, but still about hockey and the Cold War and the 1980 USA hockey team. So that's but the whole thing and the whole point of this project to this day is not to make the band sound as bad as the concept. That's the goal, no pun intended.
Right.
And it's hard. Sometimes we blow it, and I really feel bad when we blow it. But we try hard. We work hard at these recordings. We work hard at arranging these songs. I have another band that got signed to Warner Brothers, the Levies, and we did a Tiny Desk concert 3 months ago. And like, this band works really hard at this stuff, and we take it we take our fun very seriously. When we play live, it's always the same response, which is great. Besides Mike Vernon, I've never been told we suck. I should tell you. Oh God, I got to tell you our Mike Vernon story.
Oh, please.
That has not been launched out there, and it's a good one. Yeah, he's the only guy. Him and some other dude from whenever he went down. I forget who he went down for a game, and he played at the end of his career. What's that? Is it St. John's? What's the who's the Red Wings farm team?
Oh, Toledo, the Toledo Walleye.
But before
It might
that,
have been differently. It might have been different. At maybe Adirondack.
it might have been Adirondack. It was around. Well, it was actually 2002.
Okay. Yeah, Adirondack was around then.
Yeah. So let's get it out there, right? Let's give you a good exclusive. Because he went
Yeah.
into the hall, and Tarkin called me. He's like, "You've got to write a diatribe about that story." But the Zambonis are riding high. This is you're getting the story right now. Zambonis are riding high, and at the time, I was the MC for the Bridgeport Sound Tigers, and the whole team were very supportive of the Zambonis and myself. I was the MC. Let's go Tigers, And at the time, it was owned by the Bowe family, Todd Bowe and his dad Roy Bowe, and they loved me, and they were very supportive. So we tied in after the game that night. Zambonis were playing at this place called the Acoustic Cafe, and I invited the whole team. Eric Goddard was on the team back then. I said, come over and invite the other guys, if they want to come. So they're friendly with some of the guys on the other team. And that's the night that Mike Vernon was sent down to play his first AHL game, and who knows when. And he wasn't happy. So I just remembered the name of the other guy. So this is a real tight place. And Zamboni's, we're doing our thing. It's packed. And we play our show. And now we have huge hockey bags, which you're familiar with, filled with our uniforms and some musical equipment. and the show went great. It's loaded up with half Adirondack guys and half Sound Tigers guys, and we're carrying out the bag, and I hit a chair or something. I hit a chair and it fell over, and the guy sitting with Mike Vernon, who I didn't recognize, I think this guy's Enrique. That was his name. I can't completely remember, but he goes, and I'm not going to say the R word, but I'll just say spaz. Nice job, spaz. And I was like, it's not easy carrying hockey bags. You guys know that. And I just sort of kept on walking. And one of them said, you guys suck. You guys suck.
Ooh.
So now I was about to walk out, put the bag in the car. And that next weekend, the band was flying out to LA. We were playing the 2002 NHL All-Star game. So I turned around. I said, I don't know. Do we suck? One of the three of us is going to the All-Star game, the NHL All-Star game next week. And it's not you two. And all of a sudden, they jump up and start running. I throw my bag in front of them and run outside. Eric Goddard sort of pushed towards them. And he said, Zamboni, go, Zamboni, go. So I run out. I take a right, and I get in the car, and we take off. So smart ass Dave Zamboni it was a pretty good comeback, though. One of the three of us is going to the All-Star game, and it's not you two.
That's amazing.
So, yeah, but
especially because he didn't want to be there anyway. That's awesome.
Yeah. So I'm sorry, Mike, but it wasn't you. I understand you might have been crabby that night, but congratulations on your Hall of Fame induction.
There you go. Good follow-up.
Yeah.
That's wild. I mean, I'm sure you guys have probably run through some interesting hockey fans over the years. But that one definitely might take the cake. I don't know.
I don't know. It was a good one. And I'm not that fast of a guy, but I found speed at that moment.
You were your most athletic self.
I'm pretty nimble, actually. For a big guy, I'm pretty
nimble. That's funny, Dave. One thing I wanted to ask you about too that I found very interesting is this whole idea that you guys are, an official licensee of an existing brand. Kind of talk me through when the Zamboni company came after you guys in '98.
Well, it started with one, we had no idea what the hell we were doing. As a matter of fact, our first 45 had the Rangers logo. It had the NHL logo. I mean, we were kids. We didn't know what the hell we were doing. And we learned, and actually a bunch of the NHL employees came to some of the early shows, and they're like, take a marker, scribble out that logo, and let's work together. Let's talk. You guys are great. So that was really nice. As a matter of fact, one of those guys, the young guys at that time, is the vice president and a big part of the NHL, Brian Jennings, and he's always been really, really supportive of us. So it's great. And but somewhere along the way, we definitely we didn't get that you can't call yourself the Zambonis. And long story short, we were informed, hey, you can't do that. So we thought we were cool because Peter and Tarkin played hockey for a big music industry team in New York called the Hit Factory. And we had this super lawyer, George, who wore glasses like Paul Schaefer had with one circle and one oval. He had leather pants. So we figured this guy is indestructible. But now I know a guy with an oval and a circle glasses doesn't mean he won't do the job perfectly. So he said, don't worry about this. I got this, guys. And a year and a half later, he explained to us, I don't have this. you guys are using the Zamboni in the realm of hockey, so there's no way out of this. So Peter and I penned a postcard, and we sent them a postcard that said basically, "Hi, we love your machine, we love your company. Please don't make us change our names to the motorized ice resurfacing machines." And they contacted us within days, and we shook hands. We worked out a licensing agreement, and that's the happy ending.
That's pretty wild. I mean, when I saw that stat, I'm like, wow, that's really amazing. And then, as a person that's a designer and works in branding and things like that, I'm like, whoa. It's it kind of worries me because sometimes I use things that probably I might get the hunt down from another
Oh, no,
company or something. But
you should worry. You should worry. Yeah.
it sounded like though they were pretty
They were
good
great.
about it though
They were
in
great.
the
And
end, right?
we also had Hockey Monkey out on Nickelodeon at that time. And if you can't like a band that has a song called Hockey Monkey with an animated monkey in the video and kids skating, I completely get it. I absolutely get it. But we're not dangerous guys. We don't do many stupid things. So,
Did you guys have any of you guys actually driven a Zamboni?
I think Tarkin has driven on the Zamboni. I drove a Zamboni for the first time up at Lake Placid.
That's cool.
Like 8 years ago. Yeah, we did like 6 years in a row. We played the NCAA championships at the Herb Brooks Arena. And I mean, when you said, what's your favorite hockey memory, that's definitely for the band playing those shows in that arena. And eventually, as each gig went on, our friend Katie, actually, who's the president of the USA Women's Hockey, Katie Million, perfect name.
Mm-hmm.
She booked us, and she grew confident with each one. Like, Dave, will you guys do it? Will you do the national anthem? Will you MC the event? Just every year it got better and better. But playing up there, no matter, and we love playing in the cold too, which is great. So we would play outside, be like 5 degrees, and then we'd play inside, and it was great. I don't know if you've been to Lake Placid. Have you gone up there?
I have not been able to go up there. I had a couple chances that I missed out on, but
Oh,
it'll happen. It's in the near future for sure.
It's wild. It's like a different country. It's interesting.
Since Lake Placid it hosted an Olympics, I did have one question I wanted to ask about all this. You guys are known as the only hockey band out there, but
No, only all hockey band.
yeah.
There's
But
other
why the one curling song though?
Oh, yeah. Well, there's 2.
Yeah.
Just because I couldn't say no,
Sure.
we have some friends. Vista Blue is the name of their band. They write basically baseball songs. Vista Blue, and they're out of Nashville. And he called me. I think I'm drawing a blank. I think it's Mike. He called me and he's like, "Hey, would you be interested in writing like we're thinking of doing a split single with you guys if you want to write one curling song?" And I was like, yes, why not? And I said, just let us help with the artwork because I got a good idea with that. And that was it. So why not? 2 curling songs and 256 hockey songs. He sold out.
I love it.
But
No,
I like those
they're good.
songs. I actually like the songs a lot.
Yeah, they turned out great. I
Yeah.
mean, it was funny when looking through your website and things like that. You mentioned in there, don't shoot us. We did do a curling song, so I had to mention it because I was curious about why. But
Yeah.
I mean, out of all this you guys now are kind of have become such a huge part of the hockeyverse, just like the Hanson brothers. I love that there's a photo on your guys' Instagram where you guys are with the Hanson brothers, and you guys have gotten to know so many people in the hockey world. How does being a part of that, like, you know, a big part of the sports culture for you
I mean,
guys?
it's awesome, and I'd love to sit here and say, "Oh, it's the greatest," but I don't think we're at all a part of it enough. Um, and it's partly my fault. I mean, it is we are a band. There's 5 of us in the band currently, but um, unfortunately, it all falls on me because I'm the captain and I'm the guy that makes like the reaches. I reach out here. I reach out here. We recently got a manager, so I'm looking to change this and actually pursue some of the teams. Right now, if you go to a Rangers game, they play our songs in the first period at Madison Square Garden.
Mm-hmm.
Like they play it at LA Kings games, they play it at Panthers games, they play it at Carolina, they play them at Dallas Stars games. But we don't do anything. I just sit here and write more songs about hockey. You know, a smart hockey band would then call the arena that's already playing our music and say, "Hey, we're the Zambonis. You're playing our songs. We'd love to do something with you." But we don't do that. So I think
Soon
we're going to
enough. So
start.
you're telling me we're gonna see you soon, like on the stage at the Golden Knights game or on the stage, at MSG or something.
It should happen because it's not like I'm making a cold call. They're already playing the song.
Right.
But the point is, I need to connect the dots, and it's it's a it's a freaking 5-minute major on my end, not doing it earlier. But that's just how we function. We're not the smartest guys, but we're getting there. We're getting there.
Well, I mean, I think you guys. I mean, when I look through your, like you said, 256 hockey songs, but it seems like they come out like you guys are releasing constantly.
Yeah.
And I can't. I mean, out of all the bands that I follow and keep track of, no one does it at the speed that you guys do it.
No, I've got so many songs. Like right now, we've got after this one, which comes out basically today, as you just told me. Oh, it's already up on YouTube. I was going to premiere it next week, but
Yeah.
after this one, which is called Unforced Penalties, brand new song, brand new video, which will be up tonight actually. So yeah, by the time this airs, there'll be a brand new video. It's sort of a tribute to The Bride of Frankenstein, Wolfman, 50s horror movies. It's pretty cool. I think you'll like it. And then after
Yeah.
that, in 1 month, will be a brand new song called That's Why I Don't Like Hockey No Mo, which is a really good one, kind of a Stones song, which is a true story, kind of. Went to a Rangers game, went to get a beer, and saw my girl getting kissed on the kiss cam by another dude.
Oh
So
no.
yeah, um,
That's
that
pretty good.
happened
I
in
like that.
'97. I think that happened in '97. But yeah, it's a good song. And then after that, there's another one. What's another one? I forget. Like I said, there's so many. Oh yeah, Skating with Myself. That's the one after that. And now
Yeah.
we've blown it big time because we're playing with this band Led Zeppelin. I don't know if you've heard of Led Zeppelin.
Yeah. They're very
Great
good.
band. And we're playing with them. And I was so inspired that we got that gig 2 weeks ago in the basement here at Zamboni headquarters. Just whipped out a brand new song called There's No Ice. There Ain't No Ice. And I don't know where you live, but global warming is a real deal. Like there's no ice in Wisconsin. There's no pond hockey around here. You got to drive all the way up north towards Boston. So it's a real deal. So,
Yep.
but I tried to write a Led Zeppelin song, and it turned into a kind of a Kinks Small Faces song, but it's cool. And so now we're going to blow our whole plan because we got to record this. It's so good. We're going to play it. We're going to play it at our gigs coming up, but it's awesome. It's cool.
I'm excited. I'm excited to hear it for sure, because yeah, the lake I grew up skating on when I was a kid hasn't frozen in 20 years.
Yeah.
So
I mean, we
it's real.
really did. We played all around here. I lived in Trumbull growing up, and we played pond hockey almost every weekend during the winter. And
Yeah.
yeah, now the frogs are the size of buffalo. They don't.
Yeah, because they can live for so much longer.
Yeah, the frogs are crazy.
um, the one thing that I know was a big thing for you guys in 2001 was kind of this work that you guys did with the Bruins, and then I know even more recently when you had the "Don't Fight Chara" song, which is brilliant.
Thanks.
I know that you're in Connecticut, and I know you're a Whalers guy, and I know you come down to see the Rangers. But you guys, it seems like you got some love for the Bruins as well.
Oh yeah, yeah. I only I used to. I was a problem because I liked the Bruins and the Whalers, which was a real no-no around here. But once I got in a band with Peter and Tarkin, they're just Rangers freaks. And in the current band, Swifty, the bassist, he's a Ranger head and a fish head, but he's big Rangers guy. So you know, it's hard. Once you start writing songs about hockey, you tend to like almost every team. You know, it's tough. You just
Yeah,
love
it's
the
true.
sport. You know,
There are those
you live.
moments I get. I buy hats when I go to other rinks,
Uh,
and so I have so many different teams' hats, and people are like, "Oh, are you an Islanders fan?" I'm like, "No, I went to an Islanders game." Or are you a Golden Knights fan? I'm like, "No, I got a hat when I went to the game though."
right,
And and then I tell them, I'm like, "You talk to me for 5 minutes, you'll know that I'm a Red Wings fan." So, but yeah, since the Red Wings haven't been in the playoffs, I've kind of been rooting here and there for other teams for sure, because I love the sport more than I love my team.
right. There's a great.
So
Oh man, Paul Coffey. The Coffee. Who was the big whaler? The big Red Wing that came to the Whalers.
that's Paul Coffey. That
Yeah,
was the Paul Coffey for Paul Coffey and Keith Primo for Brendan Shanahan.
yeah. So there's a great story, and I got to remember who told it to me. He was driving. It wasn't Brett Hall. It was oh yeah, Chaser, Kelly Chase. He went to pick up Coffee, and Coffee like he didn't want to play, and he discussed with Chase like I don't even want to fucking score it. Oh geez, darn.
It's
Let's
okay.
want to edit.
It's okay. No, keep going.
Well, when you're talking like hockey guys, these guys swear every other word. I apologize,
Right.
but
It's
Chase
okay.
said Coffee didn't want to score a goal because he didn't want to hear that crappy song, and it's
Oh
Brass
man.
Bonanza. So that's not a great way to go into being a Hartford Whaler.
It's all right. It's sad to see the Whalers gone. I wish would be a team back in Hartford sometime in the near future. I really don't want one in Atlanta, but yeah, the Whalers had the best expansion jerseys and logos. Everyone loves the Whalers, and I know you guys did a little tribute when the guy that designed the logo passed away.
Peter
I
Good,
saw that on your Instagram. Yeah,
really
so
great guy, really sweet guy, a lovely wife and a great family, but just the nicest guy and a brilliant guy. He was successful beyond that, even though he only got paid, I think, $70 or $1. I don't know what he got paid to do that. I think it's $75, but
yeah, it's like the Nike story almost.
yeah, definitely. But yeah, I wrote a song called Bob Marley and the Hartford Whalers about the whole sadness of both Bob Marley and the Hartford Whalers leaving. Um, Well, yeah, they were great. They were great. Good games. They did play
Yeah.
in the mall. I'm not going to deny that.
I'm happy that you kind of still stayed in the area and didn't become a Hurricanes fan.
No, although I mean, God, they won it like the next year.
Yep.
Was it? No, it wasn't the next year. But
Well,
when
the
was
Red Wings beat them in 2002. I think the Hurricanes
2005?
won
I
in,
think it was 2005, maybe.
yeah, I think it was 05 or 06.
Because thank goodness Matt Cullen played for the Hurricanes, and he was a fan of ours. And his wife called us, and they flew us out to Fargo for the Stanley Cup party. So we played. So if you look on the internet, I believe I'm the only one raising the cup in a Zarly Zalapsky game-worn Hartford Whalers jersey. I'll send you that photo. You could use
That's
that.
a Yeah, that's a pretty good. That's a pretty good. I'd love to show that on the show for sure because
Yeah, and
you know
I love.
there was a whaler that there was a whaler able to pick up the cup.
Yes, there were a couple actually around that team, and they were at that party. We partied hard that night. We all drank. As a matter of fact, our drummer at the time, Matt, great guy, Matt. Matt never drank a drop of alcohol in his life, and swore never to do so unless it was from the Stanley Cup. And that
Oh wow.
night, and that's on YouTube. That night, Matt Cullen and his brother Mark poured about 2.5 ounces of Michelob Ultra Light into the cup, and they poured it into Matt's mouth, and he did it, and that was it. And that's the only alcohol he ever drank. It's on YouTube.
That's that's a maybe I should do that. It'll slow me down a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah. Only drink when it's from the cup. That's
Yeah, yeah.
not a bad idea.
One thing I wanted to really ask you too is that, like I said in the intro, of course, when I looked you guys up, it says rock band, it says indie rock band, but you guys borrow from so many different genres, and I'm kind of curious what kind of drives those changes into those songs.
Well, I could show you what to the left of me are 4,000 LPs, and downstairs there's 6,000 more.
Wow.
I live for music, and the guys in the band live for music. They're so, we'll talk about music every second, and that's all we do, So, I mean, I love everything. I love Thelonious Monk. I love jazz. I love country. I love ska. The guy from Hepcat just died. That sucks. But
Yep.
third wave, second wave, first wave ska, everything, rock and roll. It's all, in our blood and bones and in our brain. And, I, you want to make great music. That's the goal. We record our own stuff. Everything's recorded by us. So that's our joy. That's our passion. We love music. And also the great part is we're a hockey band. So there's people are going to think we're going to suck anyway. So we can do whatever we want. We don't have to just play this certain type of music. Although it would be cool if we just made one type of music. But, like I said, we're playing with Led Zeppelin. I say, let's write a Led Zeppelin song, but it's a hockey song. Then it becomes something else. But it doesn't matter. We've got Fight in the Ice, which sounds like Judas Priest. And we've got, Whirlwind, which sounds like, I don't know, Bob Dylan or even more folky than that. So it doesn't matter. But we do take it seriously. I know it sounds like such a joke when I say that, but I challenge you to, give it a listen and check it out. I don't think
Yeah,
it sucks.
I think the special care that goes into it, you can hear that, I think, for sure. And I think the thing that's great is when, you know, kind of figuring out what I wanted to ask you. I was going through just playing this stuff all the last couple of days, and I'm like, man, it's in some ways, for other bands, I would say, oh, they're all over the place. But for some reason, it works that, you know, the the subject matter that's in the writing, and you make a ska sound out of it, or a punk a song out of it, or a metal song out of it, and it fits, it works. You guys definitely have the right Lego pieces for
Yeah.
what you guys are doing.
You mentioned Slow Whip. Like, we're from Connecticut, and thank goodness we've got some great support here. But Chris and Tina, half of my favorite band, one of my favorite bands ever, the Talking Heads and the Tom Tom Club, they're some of our biggest supporters ever. And they come to all our shows. And even with Slow Whip, we were playing it live before we recorded it. And they called, hey, Dave. I'm like, yeah, it's Chris and Tina. We think you should delay the slow part, like the funny slow, because we were doing that in the early part. And I said, really? I said, is this a production call? Aren't you guys retired? And they're like, oh no, this will be it. We'll retire after this, but trust me, don't do it early, do it later. So we listened, and they're awesome. He plays that song. Chris has a radio show here in Bridgeport, and it's the best. Like, to have the Talking Heads call me and say, we think you should push that catchy, funny hook and delay it and do it more, do it longer. I said, yeah, you're right. So we must be doing something.
Yeah,
I had Tina on my wall when I was 16, and now she's calling me, telling me to delay the chorus. So
that's pretty good. I mean, it shows how far you guys have come. I know, it
shows how bored they are.
maybe. But no, I think you guys are doing a great thing here. I think the hockey world, the hockeyverse, as I like to call it, is definitely glad that we have you talking about the hockey monkey, and talking about the referee's daughter. I love the Oregon version of it, by the way. It's pretty cool.
Well, can I tell you something real quick?
Yeah.
This is also of all the things coming up, this is the craziest, and one of my biggest dreams ever is going to have to come true, because about a month ago, someone contacted me through our website. Are you interested in owning the Hartford Whalers organ from the Civic Center? So of course I was like, yes. And we went back and forth, and it's crazy. But a long time ago, in 1982, I bought a cassette of one of my favorite bands, Devo, and it was called Devo Easy Listening Music. And Devo made elevator music of their own hits. So it's always been my dream. I also collect like 60s records and 50s records of organ players, and it would say like Ken Jones on the Hammond organ, and it's got this guy with the scarf like this, So I always wanted to do organ versions of the Zamboni songs, which I did, as you heard, a couple of them a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
But come full circle, I went up. It was sitting in Wethersfield High School. It's in Hartford. And I went in, and there it was. And my friend Matt and I went in. We bought it for $100.
Oh, wow.
We brought it back. We put it together in the studio. I was so sore. It's so heavy. It's crazy. We had to take it apart. I haven't used an Allen wrench in quite a while, but I found an Allen wrench. And anyway, so now I'm going to do my first ever Kickstarter. I've never wanted to do any of these things, but I've already spoken to a couple different organ players. Josh Cantor from Boston being one of the Red Sox organists. So it'll be basically the hits of the Zambonis played on the Hartford Whaler, Hammond organ, and more. And going to have all these different organ guys play our songs on this organ or an organ from their house. And it's finally going to come true. So we're working on the record cover on that. And I got to put together a whole. But the Zambonis own the Hartford Whalers organ.
That is amazing. Also, I mean, the fact that not only the music, but Dave, I know a lot of your videos, you make them, right?
Yeah.
Like the slow whip video is great.
Yeah. That's this great friend and fan of ours who came from Korea. She started with Away Game. She's an LA Kings fan. She's from Korea, and we've just sort of stayed in touch. And a couple times she made Chara also. And then when I wrote Slow Whip, I was like, this needs her again. And she's awesome. She's awesome.
Yeah.
Um,
I love the story of that song, and I love the way that it seemed like, since it was kind of cut out things and, kind of placed really nicely, it had this like childish feel to it.
yeah,
But the story is hilarious,
yeah,
the Zamboni drivers takes the Zamboni for a drive.
yeah.
So
I gave her the concept. She ran with it, and then I would just say, can we send them, to Mount Rushmore? Send them the Hollywood sign. I just gave her all these things, and she's awesome. And she also painted on
yeah,
that one too. Like we have the Zambonis playing in the mountains on that. Yeah, that
yeah, it's
video that video deserves more likes, I say.
yeah, the videos are great. I mean, all the creativity you guys have done has been great. Hearing about what you guys got coming down the road, an amazing organ album, and few new songs upcoming. One thing I wanted to ask you, kind of to close things out, is you guys now have kind of been in the hockey zeitgeist a bit, and I'm curious, what's your most famous hockey person you ever got to meet because of your music?
I could answer that quickly. I just want to
And it's
thank
not Mike Vernon. I know
no
that.
no offense to my I think it's got to be we did a couple benefits for Dennis Leary in Boston, and there were loads of celebrities at these benefits, and we were Peter and Tarkin played in the celebrity game a little bit. So was Conan O'Brien, Michael J. Fox was there, and so in the locker room, Cam Neely, all these guys, great Bruins, but Bobby Orr walks into the locker room and he say, "Hey, great job, man, great job, guys, great job, and thanks a lot, thanks a lot." And we did another one. "Hey, Zambonis, great job, great job." So now that's part of the story. It's Bobby Orr, but I'm the MC at the Sound Tigers, the Bridgeport Sound Tigers. And around 2005, yeah, he was managing Rick DiPietro. I don't know when. I'm not sure. The years might be wrong, but he was helping manage Rick. So the owner of the team comes over and says to everybody in the office, "Hey, whatever you do, don't talk to Bobby Orr. Don't look at him. Just let him do his job. Don't bother him." Okay. So now we're walking down the hall, and the owner and Bobby Orr are walking this way, and I'm walking this way. And all of a sudden he looks over, he goes, "Hey, you wacky singing hockey nut." I said, "Hey, Bobby, how are you?" That was it. And
That's
that's
awesome.
probably still going to be the name of our next full record, Wacky Singing Hockey Nuts.
Yeah, I
Uh,
like that.
so I'll go with
Well,
Bob.
that's a pretty good one. I mean, I'm sure you guys have gotten to not only perform for, but also get to meet, and of course they remember you. So that's even better.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes it's tough performing for hockey players because if you know, hockey players like Nickelback and you know Three Doors Down. Nothing
Right.
against those bands. We played with Three Doors Down, but we're not those bands. So
Yeah.
if we go into a little
And
jazz,
thank you for that. Thank you for that, because I'm not like Connor McDavid. I'm not a big Nickelback fan.
yeah. Well, there's a place for them,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
and they do all right. I'm not putting them down. They do all right,
No.
and I
Yeah.
actually heard they're nice guys.
Yeah.
The Three Doors Down guys, they made us stay in our backstage area when they walked to venue stage.
Oh
And
my
there's no one
gosh.
near us. They're like, the manager said, you guys got to stay in there when they walk out.
Wow.
Okay. We're old.
Wow.
We're not getting up for anything. Don't worry.
Yeah. We'll just turn the chair.
Yeah.
Well, Dave, this has been wonderful. I love all the stories you've been giving us. I love what you guys are doing for the hockey community and making these great, hilarious, wonderful, um, really on top of the world songs for all of us hockey people to listen to.
Thanks, man.
And thank you so much for being on Cross Ice Pass.
Thanks, man. Great doing it.
What a chat with someone who is scoring constantly with all the pieces, all the aspects of our sport. I mean, from them getting sued to stop using the Zamboni name by the Zamboni family, and then finding out that the Zamboni family was kind of like cool about it. Um, from they write about lost teeth, suspensions, fights, rats, Russian defection, concussions, pond hockey, crushes, Zamboni theft, and even hockey moms. It's all there. Shout out to Dave for meeting with me with no problem and also offering me to use their spanking brand new song, Unforced Penalties, for my intro and the outro of this epic 25th episode. The Zambonis play often, and I'll show their info below, down below. May 26th, the Zambonis are performing with an awesome comedian, Dave Hill, at the Bowery Electric for the Uni Watch 25th anniversary party. For some reason, the show is on Sunday at 2 p.m. and maybe that's why it's $10 for tickets. But I'll share that info below. I'm expecting the New York City hockey community to sell this place out. The Bowery Electric's a great venue, and I'll be there in spirit, but from California. Um, I have to get out of NYC for a little reset, so I will be missing this show. But there are other shows they have coming up. They're playing with Led Zeppelin, who is an awesome band live, if you've ever seen them. And, they're still doing this crazy thing they call hockey songs. Um, it seems like they come out every few months. And as Dave mentioned, lots of cool things in the forefront, including things from the old Hartford Whalers organ. I'm excited about that. But that's the big 25th episode, folks. Again, so much growth and great uplifting comments from you all. This podcast is moving in the right direction. And quite frankly, that is not what I expected. With me having zero experience doing this, I thought that I was surprised that it's gotten where it's gotten. And I hope that it keeps the ball keeps moving forward, that the snowball keeps grabbing all the snow on the way downhill, because I think we've got some really great things planned in the future. I've got some really amazing things that I'm excited about. I thought this would fail and crash off the edge of the bridge somewhere, but you guys, the listeners, the people I see at the bar, guys I play hockey with, kids I coach, all have stood with my idea to reach all aspects of the hockeyverse and beyond. So I'm gonna put a little with my Steve Yzerman glass, Yzer Plan for Life. I'll put a little cheers. Cheers to you all, and to so much more. And here's that puck cross ice to you, the listeners. And don't forget, subscribe, comment, keep the talk going, folks. And we'll see you in episode 26. Take care.